Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. As a software developer with over 2 years of experience in the industry, I'm honored to stand before you today to discuss a topic that holds immense significance in our journey towards modernizing, optimizing our software development process, that is, Spring Cloud Config. In our rapid evolving digital landscape, where agility and scalability are paramount, Spring Cloud Config emerges as a game changer. It provides a robust solution for managing configurations across distributed systems, offering us the flexibility and control necessary to navigate the complexities of modern application development. Today, I aim to delve into the intricacies of the Spring Cloud Config, exploring its fundamental principle, its practical application, and the tangible benefit it offers our project and organization as a whole. Through this presentation, I hope to equip you with the knowledge and insights necessary to harness the power of Spring Cloud Config effectively in our endeavors. So, further ado, let's embark on this journey to unravel the potential of Spring Cloud Config and discover how it can propel us towards a greater efficiency, resilience, and success in our environment, in our software development endeavors. So, before starting that, let's introduce ourselves. So, my name is Rohan, and I am a full stack developer with over 2 years of experience. I have an expertise in Spring Boot and Angular, and I love to transform functional codes into ideas into functional codes. And
Hi guys, I am Amresh Doshi. I am a full stack developer in Mindbowser, and I have a 2 years of experience in the Angular and a Java. So picture this: if like for example, uh, picture this: you are on a call and late at night, your phone rings, and it's the production is down message. You scramble, check logs, and discover a missing comma in a config file. Spring Cloud Config could have prevented this tragedy. So, my friends, let's learn from our mistakes and embrace the power of centralized configuration. So, let's start.
yes. So the content that we are going to follow today are what is Spring Cloud Config, understanding the problem, what is Spring Cloud Config server, what is a client, the architecture, benefits, additional configurations, and various demos we'll have. We'll have demos for server, client, and many more. And later that we'll have a Q&A session. So what is a Spring Cloud Config? Spring Cloud Config is basically is a centralized and externalized configuration management system. Uh, it is a version control management. It has dynamic configuration updates. It enhances scalability, flexibility, and consistency. So, what do we mean by centralized configuration? So, Spring Cloud Config provides a centralized location to store and manage configuration properties for a distributed application. This allows for easy access and modification of configurations settings without the need to redeploy the application. So what do we need? What do we understand by externalization? So in Spring Cloud Config, configuration properties are externalized from the application code, prompting a better separation of concerns and facilitating environment-specific configurations. This enhances the flexibility and simplifies maintenance across different deployment environment. Moving forward, let's understand the problem. So, as today, what we follow, every microservice has a configuration files attached to it. So, if we have to change any settings in our configuration files, we have to basically change all the settings in every microservice that we have. So, this is a tedious process to follow, and mistakes and human errors can be made through this. So let's understand it by an analogy. So just imagine that you are a manager of a big hotel that has around 100 rooms. So 100 rooms will have 100 doors, and all the doors will have a separate keys. So it would be very difficult for you to manage all the keys and give the keys if needed. So if there is a master key that opens all the doors at with only one key, it would be very easy for us to manage all the hotel basically. So in the technological world, this is where the Spring Cloud config comes into action. So this is the architecture that Spring Cloud config provides us. So basically, this is the Spring Boot apps are the microservices, and the API gateway, config server, service registry, circuit breaker dashboard, and Spring Cloud Sleuth. All are the supporting tools that helps the Spring to work efficiently and at a very scalable way. Moving forward, Spring Cloud config is divided into two parts. One is Spring Cloud Server and the other is Spring Cloud Client. So first we'll see what is the Spring Cloud Server. Spring Cloud Server is a centralized management configuration management system. Basically, it acts as a wall between the microservice and the place where we have stored our configuration files. It allows the application to access and use configurations from a single source. So all the configuration files will be stored in one place, that can be Git, local storage, Vault, and etc. So all the configuration file, if we store in one place, it will be very easy for us to manage and look for all the abnormalities that one can have in the application.property files. Now we'll see the architecture basically. So as you can see, in between the microservice and the storage service, we have a Spring Cloud config server, which basically acts as a layer between the microservice and the storage. So as you can see, when the microservice calls the Spring server, the Git or the Redis or MySQL or local storage, anywhere where we have stored the configuration files, it will be called upon and transferred to the microservice. So now Amresh will show you the setup for the configuration server. Yes, over to you, Amresh.
So, hi guys. I hope you guys understand the basic theory of a server. Let's do let's make our project structure or for the Spring Cloud config server. So for a basic setup, we need to go to the site that is a Spring initializer. So let's go there. Basically, this site provides us the basic project structure or the basic setup for the Spring Boot project. So for now, I'm the keeping name of our project is a Spring Cloud config server. And the Spring Boot version I'm using is a 3.2.2 and the Java version is 17. Now the important part, the dependencies which we are going to need it in the Spring Cloud config server. We only need one dependency in the server microservice. Basically, it is a config server. Basically, this dependency help our project to work work as a server, and fetch the property files from the Git repo or wherever we have stored the property files. So as you can see, we have downloaded our project. So let me extract it. So I'm using VS Code. Here is our basic. Here is our project that we have downloaded. Let me just run it. First, I will show you the dependencies. Yeah, here you can see the dependency which we have added, the Spring Cloud config server. and the thing we need to add in our like the main class in our server. There is one annotation. It is a enable config server @enable. First, let me run a project. This annotation this annotation helps our project to work like a server, and yeah, our project is running. In 2 minutes, our project will be running. So there are some there are some properties we need to add in our application.properties files. Let me add it. So let's go to our application.property files. Okay, so the first property is we need to give a, like we have enabled the config server, but as you can see we have not configured the path or the place where should the server go and fetch the property files. So for that there is one property, spring.cloud.config.server .git.uri. So let me add it. And in this property, we need to pass the path of our Git repo. Let me show you the Git repo. I have created one Git repo. It is just an empty repo. We will add our property files here. Okay. So this is the path of our. Okay. And the other properties for a server, the industry standards for a port number is 8888. So we are going to use as it is. So to configure port number, there is one property server.port, and we will be 8888. We have done all the setup or the basic things for we need in our server project. So let me show you. Let's see our project is running. Okay, as you can see, our project is running on the port number 8888. So we have configured the path of the Git repo, but as you can see, our repo is empty. So server will not find anything or the property files there. So we need to add some property files. So let us create some property files. So for example, I am giving the property name full name, the full dot name, and the giving the value of that property is my name. So there is one thing when we create our property files, there is the naming convention, which is first we have to add our file name. So file name is basically, for example, the file name is application hyphen the property name. Sorry, the profile which we are gonna like use in our project. So application hyphen, so dev is a profile. We are using a dev profile, for example, dot property. Okay. So yeah, as you can see, we have created our the dev property files. Okay, so we need to create one more. Here we will be adding the same property, but now we are adding a different the different value in it. So Rohan. Okay. Now, so as you can remember, the previous file name is also application, and the application is a like it is the same file, but now here the profile is different. So now I am using the QAT dot. When we use the dev profile, the value will be fetched like the previous one, the Amresh Joshi, and when we use the QAT profile, the this value will be fetched, the Rohan Srivastava. Okay, so let me save it. Okay, now let me upload this on a Git repo. Yeah, as you can see, we have uploaded our the both files. Let me show you. Yeah, here as you can see, the property, the key of our property is a full dot name, and the value is Amresh Joshi in a dev profile, and in a QAT. Let me show you. The key of our property is the key of our property is same full dot name, but here the value is different. The value is Rohan Srivastava. Okay, so now we have added our the property files. So okay, let me open my let me show you let me show you Postman. We will call the API of like the server provides the APIs to fetch the data from the Git repo. Basically it is the endpoints. Let me show you. Yeah, for a dev properties, as you can remember, I told about I talked about the naming convention. Here we use the same naming convention. The file name, the application is our file name, and slash the profile. Let me rerun our server. So now we have added our the property files in our Git repo, and you can see our server is running on 8888. So let's call our API. Let's call this endpoint. So application hyphen dev. So this will fetch the data of the dev file. Yeah, as you can see here, Amresh Joshi, and here is our property we have defined in the dev profile. So here is you can see the profile, and if I hit I call this API with the QAT profile. So yeah, here is you can see the profile. Here is you can see the different property which we have added in the QAT application property. So as you can see, our server is running now. The Rohan will explain you the client about some things about the client microservice, and we will have a demo of a client service also. So over to you, Rohan. Let me show you. Let me share the. So over to you, Rohan.
Yes. So what is a what is a cloud config client? So basically, it is a library that allows a service to retrieve its configuration from a Spring Cloud server. So basically, a client is a microservice. So if we have three microservice, all three will be the clients of the server basically, and this is how it works. It enables a service to use a specific profile of configuration based on its environment, like dev, prod, QAT, as Amresh showed you, and it will be automatically handled by the the client only. So if the client is running in a prod environment, then prod properties will be called, and if it is running in a dev environment, the dev properties will be called as it is. So, and it also supports the refresh scope, which enables a running service to refresh its configurations from a config server without restarting. So it is a very important point to highlight. Basically, in current scenario, what we do, if we have to change anything in the configuration files, what we have to do, we have to change it and we have to rebuild our whole application, which is a very time consuming task. It also provides us with a downtime, which we have to minimize in our application. So in this scenario, the Spring Cloud config comes into action. So now I'll show you the naming convention, as Amresh already discussed it with you. As you can see, the application dash dev dot properties. So application is the name. So it could be any name. If you want to keep XYZ dash dev, it can be XYZ. Any name is fine with it. Just we have to specify the environment that we want to fetch it. So as you can see, we can also fetch multiple active profiles like dev, prod, which is in the yellow file that you can see. It is a client microservice application.property file. Basically the microservice that will be connected with the server. It is that. Now I'll just explain that what is the refresh property. So if a microservice one, as you can see, that it calls a we have some changes in the git file, in the application.properties file, and we commit that or push that changes to the git. So what will happen, it will be changed, but how will the microservice know, how will the microservice fetch the updated records? So what it will do, it will basically call the basically an actuator is used to refresh the data. So it will be called via slash refresh, and the call is basically sent to the server, and server will then fetch the updated data and transfer it to the microservice. And as you can see, the microservice file will reach the configuration files, the updated configuration file will reach the microservice, and thus we don't have a downtime or anything like that. So yes, now Amresh will show you the client microservice setup. Yes.
So, okay. As we see the server, our server project has done. Now we will make our client microservice. So for client, same here, we need to go to the Spring initializer. Basically, this provides us the basic project structure. So here, I just changed the name to the server to the client, and the other things would be same. And here is the important part. In client microservice, we need to add three dependencies. The first one is a config client. Yeah, this dependency will help our microservice to connect to the server, and the other one is a Spring Web. Basically, this dependency will make our microservice RESTful. So you can create endpoints and call it. So, and other one is a Spring actuator. Yeah, Spring Boot actuator. So as you can remember, Rohan explained you about the refresh endpoint. So basically, all these endpoints are provided by the actuator. So let me generate our project. Yeah, our project is downloaded. Let me just extract it. Okay. Yeah, as you can see, we have imported our the client project. Let me just do setup for the client. Yeah. So in client project, there are as you can remember, we have added the three dependencies: the Spring Boot, the Spring Web, the Spring Boot actuator, and the third one, yeah, the config client. So in yeah, let me in client we need to create one controller so that we can call the API and we can test our property files. So but first we need to, let me show you the properties, sorry, the dependencies which we have added. Yeah, as you can see, here are the three dependencies. So yeah, our project is initializing, just so let me just create a one controller in our client. Yeah, as you can see here, I declared one class, the test controller, and there are some annotations we need to add in our controller to work to like to make our class work like a controller. So the first one is a REST controller. Yeah. And the second one, here we need to specify the endpoint for the like here we can define the base endpoint for this controller, and this like this endpoint will be the parent endpoint for the methods which we will be adding, which will be add in our, the class of this controller. So for that we need to add @ request mapping. Yeah. And we need to specify the endpoint here. Let me here I am just keeping the test. Okay, and now let me just create one the method which will be using to call the API. So for now, okay. Okay. Now this method will be the get mapping. So we need to add. We don't need to pass any body for the method. Okay. Now let us add some application.property of properties in our client microservice. So there are some properties, like we have initialized our client, but we need to specify the like where is the server, where client should go and collect or should fetch the data from the the Git properties. Sorry, the Git repo. So for that, here is one application.property, uh, spring.config, spring.config.import. Okay. So here we need to specify the path of our server. So as you can remember, our server is running on the port 8888 on a local host. So we need to add config server colon http colon localhost colon 8888. Yeah, what this will do is when our client project will be initialized, this will go to the path we have provided in our application properties and will fetch the data from the server. So we need to specify the okay. So we have specified the server path here. So now we need to specify the which for example, we have 50 files in our git repo, but we need to we need only 5 of them, or few we need only few of them. So we need to specify the which files which we are gonna needed in our application. So yeah, here is the property for that, spring.application.name. So here we will specify, here we will be specifying the file name of our the file name. So as you can remember, the name of our file was application, and after that we have added the profile like -dev or -qat. That was the profile name. So we need to specify that also, like which property, like the which profile we are gonna needed. So for that, spring.profiles.active. Here we will be specifying the dev for now. Okay. So let's see, our server is running on it. Oh, our server has stopped. Let me run our server. Yeah, okay. Let me tell you. Here we have initialized our like we have given our path of our server. But there is one thing, like what if the server is not running when our client is running? So let me show you. There is one thing, like if server is not running, then client will throw the exception, like it is to fail to fetch the data. For that, we need to there is one the property, we need to add the optional here. So if we add the optional, so this will if the server is not running, then this will not throw the any exception, or this will just keep our client running. So we have okay. So we have our server running on the port 8888. Now let's move to our controller. So here we have initialized our server, but let me initialize one variable. Yeah, let me declare one variable. uh, and to map our property, to our variable, we need to there is one annotation at rate value. Okay, let me make it public. Okay, value. And what this value annotation does is it is just bind the key, bind our the property name to this to this variable we have just declared. So for that, this one is the syntax, and let me show you yeah, as you can see, this is our the key for that property. Let me paste it here. Okay. So is when client get initialized, client will fetch the data from the server for this property, and it will bind to the variable we have initialized. So we have declared. So okay, let me done. let me just to test. I'm just returning our full name here, that of the property which we have added in our Git repo. So as you can see, our the client is the setup of our client is done. So let me show you. Let me show you the let's see the summary what we have done here at client. So first we have added the dependencies, the three dependencies, the starter web, the web, the dependency which will make our project restful. So we have we have declared one endpoint, and so for that this dependency is used. After that, the Spring Cloud Starter config. It is the client dependency. We have added the config client, so that one is this. And the other one is actuator, the Spring Boot Starter actuator. As you can see, there is one the problem the Rohan explained you about. What if the property files have updated in our Git repo? How can the client know if the properties are updated? I need to give me the updated property files. So for that, this dependency will be used. We will discuss this topic in few minutes. Let me show you. Let me show you the client project. Let me run it. As you can see, our server is running on 8888, and now our we have not initialized our any port number or anything in the client project. So this will be running on the port 8080. Like it is the if the default port number. Yeah, as you can see, our the client is running on 8080, and let me show you. Yeah, here you can see the fetching config from server at localhost 8888. As you can remember, we have running server on the same port number. So our client will be fetch the data from this URL, the HTTP localhost 8888. So our client is running, and we have made our the endpoint. Let's test our properties coming or not. Yeah, as you can see, here is the property which we have added in the Git repo. Yeah, the full name. Let me show you. Yeah, we have specified the profile on a div. So yeah, so this will fetch the div. This will fetch only the div profile files. So here is the full name, and the value of that is Amresh Joshi. And you can see here we have we are getting the same data. So let me show you while changing our if we change our active profile. So what will happen? Okay, let me rerun our client. What will what it does, it does the which profile is active, it fetches the data from the active profile, as we have declared in the we have talked about naming convention earlier. So yeah, the client is running now. If we hit the same endpoint, we have just changed the active profile. So what will happen? So yeah, as you can see here, you can have the updated property, the Rohan Srivastava. Let me show you that. This one is the div, and let me go to the QAT properties. Yeah, as you can see here is the QAT property, the Rohan Srivastava. So Now we will be talk. Yeah. So as you can remember, a few times you have heard the spring actuator. So now we will be talking talk about the actuator. So what if I make some changes in our property file? So let me just do some changes. Let me update. Uh, Let me just update. Okay. Let me just, yeah. What I have done is the full name which we have the property which we have added earlier, and I just added the updated data onto it. So now, if we hit our client again, let's see what it does. Yeah, as you can see, this one is giving the the old field, the old value of that property, but we need every time we need the updated data. For that, there is for that here the actuator comes into the play. So there is one thing, there is one annotation. Like at the rate refresh scope. So what it does. Uh, when we the actuator provides some endpoints for to monitor our project health, or there are some endpoints, but for now we will be focusing on the only one endpoint, that is slash refresh, the refresh endpoint. What it does, when we add this annotation here, the refresh scope, what it does, it just refreshes the data from it just get the updated data from the server, and it's stored in the cache. So yeah, we have added the refresh scope here, and there is another thing, we need to add the application dot property in the client one. Yeah, there is one property in Spring Boot version 2.0 or the earlier version. There are all the endpoints are enabled by default, but from the Spring Boot version 2.0 and above, we need to specify the which endpoints we are going to need it in our application. So for that, there is one. Yeah, as you can see, the management dot endpoint. Yeah, and
Yes.
yeah.
Yeah.
The property for that, the management dot endpoints dot web dot exposure dot web dot, yeah, the exposure dot include. Here we need here for now, we will be just adding the star. What this does, this will like this will enable all the endpoints of the actuator for this project. So let me rerun our project. Let me rerun our client. Yeah, let me show you. Yeah, as you can see, when our client is getting initialized, this will yeah, the fetching our project is fetching the data from the server. So yeah, our client is running now. So if we hit now, if now we have run our client again. So what happened, like we have updated the, like it our client already fetched the updated data. So let me just test that. Yeah, as you can see, here is the updated data, but as you can see, we have we have rebuilt our application, but every time we cannot do that, we have updated the property and let rebuild our all the clients. For now it is just one client connected to our server, but there can be the multiple, like the 50 clients connected to the server. We cannot run every time the all the 50. So let me just update the data here in our Git repo. Updated. Okay. So now I have updated the property. So if we hit the same endpoint now, we can, yeah, as you can see, we will be getting the old one, because when client get initialized, it stores the, like, it fetches the data from the server and it's restored in itself. So to update the data, like to update the property, there is one endpoint, refresh. We need to hit that. The refresh endpoints comes under the actuator. So here is the path for that. We need to call this endpoint the actuator slash refresh. What this does, this will, yeah, this will return the, like, which property is updated. So as you can see, here is our key of that property, the full name. And if we hit the same endpoint, what will happen? We will get the updated data. Yeah. As you can see, the Rohil Srivastava updated second time. Yeah, as you can see here in our Git repo, we have added Rohil Srivastava. Okay, so this is the like the basic client project structure, and we have also seen the actuator. That one is the additional configuration. So now the Rohan will talk about some additional configurations, and and after that we will be seeing one more demo. Okay, about some additional configuration. So okay, so these are the benefits. Okay.
So now we'll talk about the benefits of Spring Cloud Config. So it helps us in centralizing the configuration. So it is a centralized configuration management. All the configuration files in one place. So that is why it is centralized. Dynamic configuration update, as Amresh showed you with the actuator. We don't have to every time we don't have to rebuild our microservices. So that is why it is a dynamic configuration update. Version control. So as we are storing it in a git repo, so every time we do a commit, it will be version control. So this is why it is version control. Secure configurations. So there are many other ways which we can do the configuration. So as you know, in the application.property files, we have sensitive information. So we can't keep it in a public repo. So it can be kept in a private repo, which we can get it via the SSL key, and it is a decentralized architecture. So basically, everything is not tightly coupled, which is a very good thing. So that is why it is a decentralized architecture. So there are so now we'll talk about the additional configurations regarding the how the secure configuration. So what we can do, we can encrypt or decrypt the sensitive data. There is a key management process. Multiple file sources can be used, and private repo is also supported. So now Amresh will show you one of this additional configuration, which is the encrypt and decrypt of sensitive data.
Okay. So to encrypt and decrypt, basically the Spring provides us the security to encrypt the property and to decrypt. For that, okay, let me stop our client as well as the server. So there is one property that we need to add in a server, like the key on the, like, the on which key the server should encrypt our property, and we need to specify the key. On the basis of that key, server will encrypt and decrypt the our property, and to secure our properties, so secure our data. So for that, encrypt, yeah, here is one property, encrypt.key. We can any string that can be the string that can be the key for the encryption and decryption. So any random key. So let me type something the test. Yeah. Okay. So what will happen when we initialize the key here? So our server will encrypt the data using this key. So for that, let me rerun our server. To encrypt and decrypt, there are two endpoints. Let's talk about that. There are two endpoints. One is encrypt, like /encrypt and /decrypt. To encrypt our data, we need to, yeah, as you can see, our server is running. So, yeah. Okay. So, here is that endpoint encrypt, and we need to pass the property. We need to like the data we need to encrypt here. So okay, so we will be adding our company name here. Okay. As you can see here is yeah, as you can see here we have like you can the one exception. So yeah, here is one exception, the unsupported operation exception. So did you configure the key store correctly with the root cause? So yeah, on that we run a server. Okay, so
Okay, then.
so I have added that in our client. So this property will go into the server the server application or property file. So for that, let's go to our server. Yeah. So here we need to add that encrypt.key property. So .key, and let's add the any random string. So test and okay. So now we'll now run our server. Let me just confirm. I have run our server or not. Yeah. So our Tomcat is initialized on the port 8888. So now we have run our server. Okay. Now when I call that encrypt endpoint, what happened? Yeah, the endpoint returns me the string, the encrypted string, which will be we need to add. Let me first decrypt it. So this one is the encrypted string for the data which we have passed in the passed to the endpoint. So let me check the data is same or not. Like or to decrypt, we need to there is one another endpoint /decrypt. This endpoint will the decrypt the property and the return to us the string the decrypted data. So let me call just okay. So as you can see here is the Mindbowser. the string we have passed the encrypted to the string we have passed to the encrypt endpoint, and after that we have passed the encrypted string to our decrypt endpoint. So the decrypt endpoint will decrypt the encrypted string and return the data to us. So we don't need to this is the to show you how the encryption and decryption works. It is the manual encryption decryption, but what all these things the Spring Cloud does for us. So the thing we just need to add this encrypted data in the our Git repo. So let me go to our Git repo. Okay. And we need to add that encrypted string here, and like we have to add one keyword before that encrypted string, that is a cipher. So the server will know that this is a encrypted string. We have to decrypt it. So for that we need to add this the cipher keyword here. So let me just commit. Yeah, okay. So we have our encrypted data in the properties. So it is yeah, this string is not in a anyone cannot understand what written in this file. So basic security which provide it is the basic security provided by the Spring Cloud. So let me run our client. Okay. Our server is running now. We just check our client property files are okay. We have just added the server. Yeah, okay. All things are in place. So let me just run our client. Yeah. As you can see, the active profile is a QAT, and now our client will be fetching. Yeah, as you can hear, yeah, fetching config from the server on a local host 882. So yeah, let me just hit the same API. Let me show you the controller which we have made. Yeah, here is the property, the full dot name, and now we have added the encrypted data to that property full dot name. So now we'll be calling the same API which we have done. Yeah, as you can see, we have added the encrypted data in a repo, but when we fetches our property, we get the decrypted data. So basically, this is the encryption decryption provided by the cloud config. Now, Rohan will show you the show you or the talk to you about the some additional configuration. So over to you, Rohan.
Yes. So Amresh, as Amresh showed you the encryption and decrypts of sensitive data, as you can see, we just have to encrypt the data and store it in the application.property file on the Git repo with the annotation with a pre word, that is cipher, which is in a curly braces, so that the Spring Cloud server will understand that this is the encrypted data, and I have to use the encrypt.key string to decrypt the data, and thus it is so nobody can understand the data, even if the property files or the repository is on a public repo. So yes, and there are many other ways, like we can use it we can use a private repo also, which we can fetch it via SSL key. It is also supported. We also support. It also supports key management, multiple file sources, and many other things. And yes, so basically, this is the whole working of Spring Cloud Config, which we showed you, and I hope you understood it. So yes, and now this is a code. This is CodeGrip, basically a code analysis tool. CodeGrip makes sure excellent code quality and automated code review at every commit and pull. So it also finds duplication and also suggests solution, error resolution time, and many more display at all types of on all types of code.
Yes, thanks for joining the session, and I hope you enjoyed the session. Yeah.
Yeah.
And also here you can see like we have different job opportunities here in the Mindbowser. So you can go through it, and also you can visit our website to know more about the job opportunities and how you can apply.